Today's topic is ethical consideration in clinical trials. Ethical can best be thought of as an moral principle that underpin good behavior. However, how this is defined is open to wide interpretations and depends on factors such as societal norms and religion. Tales of Miletus 624 BC to 546 BC advised his contemporaries to avoid doing what they would blame others for doing, and similar expressions of this concept about throughout a range of moral philosophies. In medicine, the concept of non-maleficence, that is not harming the patients, is established as a pillar of physician behavior. However, the distinction between what is good and bad is not always clear, and an example of this in medicine is when doctors might induce serious adverse event in a patient through toxic treatment for their incurable cancer, which would be objectionable in circumstances that are not life threatening. Balancing the risk of harm with the potential benefits requires careful evaluations. This is especially the case where there is a controversy over the evidence of benefits, or where an individual is being asked to expose themselves to harm for no personal advantage, but only to provide information of benefits to the community. If a treatment is successful in this instance, it is especially important that patients who are involved in clinical trial are not used as a means to an end. It is particularly important to evaluate any proposed research project in light of the actual harm that might arise, and also to ensure that people are not included for reasons that are not in their best interested. Any competing interested of researchers must be disclosed, and weight of when determine whether they might have a vested interested in including patients in trial that pose personal risk of harm to them. Benefits and risks to the wider community should be taken into account as well. For instance, relatives have a right to know about genetic abnormalities identified in a patient, such as BRCA mutations, although this can also be perceived as potential harm for a person not directly involved in the research. If it causes anxiety and they need to undergo invasive procedures in light of the knowledge arising from a study that they were not a part of any clinical trial, is preceded by an application for ethical approval of the research, which must be obtained by the investigator before the start of the project. In the documents, the researchers are required to explain how they are going to ensure the best interested of the patients versus their own competing interests. The application should be self-explanatory and self-sufficient, and should provide a details evaluation of any risk and how they will be managed and reduced. Institutions have different requirements regarding applications, but in general they require descriptions of the study, consideration of the ethical issues, and examples of the advertising materials, participants inform sheets, and consent form used. Also, details about how the safe conduct of the study will be monitored generally has to be provided, as well as who will review the data, determine whether early stopping of the trial is necessary if it proves useful, or futile at an earlier stage than that defined in the study protocols. Moral ethical codes, a number of guidelines define appropriate behavior in the context of medical research, and almost all contemporary documents have their origin in the Declaration of Helsinki. Thank you.